Hello, my name is Kelly Eric, and I will be presenting information about the challenges and best practices for serving non-English speakers in our libraries. Nancy Cowan and I put this presentation together for the Reference Sources and Services course of the MLS graduate program at the University at Buffalo. This presentation will focus on how reference librarians and public libraries can best serve their non-English speaking patrons. However, the tips and resources included in this presentation may also apply to academic and special libraries. So why is this a topic of concern for librarians? According to a 2007 report by the American Library Association, 21 million people in America speak limited or no English, which is an increase of 50% in the past 10 years. And this number is only expected to grow. As you can see by the chart, Spanish is spoken by the majority of non-English speakers, followed by Asian languages, such as Chinese and Tagalog, and then Indo-European languages, like French or Russian. Indo-European languages may also include Hindi and other languages of the Indian subcontinent. Spanish language speakers are the fastest growing group in the US, and Spanish is the most supported non-English language in public libraries. Surprisingly, a 2007 ALA report discovered that the majority of non-English speakers were concentrated in smaller communities, rather than in the larger urban areas. So even if you're working in a small library, you may find that you are serving a large non-English speaking population. Unfortunately, there are many barriers to library use for non-English speakers. The most obvious obstacle is English literacy and communication. But some immigrants may also be wary of governments or agencies due to experiences they had in their home countries. Others may not understand how the library works or what kind of services it offers. Once a library has successfully overcome barriers to library use, the next step is to satisfy their information needs. These needs are not that different for native English speakers. They want access to computers, employment information, and educational classes on topics of interest. The main difference, of course, is providing this information in a language that your patron can understand. Trying to speak with someone who doesn't know your language can be very frustrating for both parties. Take a moment to think about your own experiences, perhaps on vacation or in a high school French class. I had the opportunity to travel abroad as an undergrad, and what I remember most from that time was how helpless and isolated I felt. Librarians can improve reference interactions when they are aware of the difficulties of using another language. And some of the best ways to overcome these difficulties simply involve patience and respect. There are practical techniques you can use too. Speak in simple sentences and use common words, like very big instead of huge, and avoid library jargon. Give the patron time to translate what you've said in their head, and if they don't understand, repeat it, rephrase it, or try something else. Many non-English speakers can read English better than they speak it, so try writing. But be sensitive to the fact that your patron may not be able to read or write at all. Speak clearly in a normal tone of voice, no shouting, and check often to make sure that your patron understands what you are saying. Some patrons will nod and say yes just to be polite or hide in confusion and embarrassment. Follow up with your patron in case they misunderstood you. And of course, smile. Approaching the interaction with a positive and relaxed attitude will help immensely. Besides communication barriers, there are a number of budgetary and institutional challenges for libraries trying to serve non-English speaking communities. These include whether or not to hire bilingual staff members, how to finance programs, what kind of programs to offer, and whether or not to devote part of the budget to services for non-English speakers. With some planning and research, these challenges can also be overcome. Best practices start with getting to know your community. Spanish language programs are not helpful if your neighborhood has Filipino residents. The ALA reports that non-English speaking populations may not make themselves known to the library. It is up to the library to seek out and identify these populations. Partnering with other organizations is one way to do that, and also provides the opportunity to develop programs together. Many libraries offer computer instruction classes, bilingual library card campaigns, as well as citizenship and ESL instruction. You could also offer library tours, free seminars on community resources, and family literacy events. Try to offer bilingual classes as often as possible. Fortunately, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a number of successful programs that you can implement or copy. Some programs can be funded by grants, or you may be able to obtain funding from other organizations. Partnering with other organizations means you don't have to create programs on your own, and there are a number of different groups to work with. A 2004 working group convened by the Office of Citizenship suggests partnering with government agencies, groups that focus on immigration services, adult literacy groups, local colleges and schools, refugee and resettlement programs, and even local businesses. Partnerships can provide a number of resources for the library. They may also offer speakers or teachers for events. If your library does not have the space, staff time, or staff expertise for events, partners can provide you with the opportunity to get out of the library and participate in community programs. Outreach is another important aspect of services and can be done by even the smallest libraries. It is up to the library to seek out these populations and make them feel welcome. You can do this by participating in community events, recruiting members of the community to serve on library boards, and creating bilingual marketing materials that explain library services. Providing resources of interest is the backbone of library services. The Civics and Citizenship Toolkit notes that topics of interest are life in the U.S., education and employment, healthcare, immigration, and citizenship, as well as starting a business. Make sure you have materials for children as well as adults, and keep in mind that while adult ESL students may read at a child's level, they may not prefer juvenile materials. The ALA recommends honoring your patron's choice of language, and you can do this by hiring bilingual staff or by providing bilingual informational materials about community resources and government programs. If you cannot hire bilingual staff, look into recruiting bilingual volunteers. Whether or not you have bilingual staff, it is helpful to have bilingual signs. You can purchase these from supply catalogs or ask other organizations to help you with translation. This may seem like a lot of work, but by offering programs to non-English speakers, you can help a segment of the population that is sometimes overlooked and disenfranchised. And there are many professional resources and toolkits that can help you get started. Whether a collection is revamped, a program implemented, or a simple greeting is exchanged, Working with and reaching out to non-English speaking communities may become one of the most rewarding experiences of your library career.